Hello everyone, my name is Cecil Scott, and welcome to another one of my reaction videos. Today we're going to be reacting to a show as I normally like to do on YouTube, whether it be anime or tokusatsu or something else, but at the beginning of every single one of my reaction videos you're going to see this little video is going to play as a disclaimer to you, the viewer. A lot of people on YouTube like to do reaction videos and put the footage of whatever they're watching in their actual video. They'll do little tricks to sort of distort it, whether it be brightening it or making it transparent or playing with the volume, all sorts of little tricks that they do to try and put the footage from whatever they're watching in their video so you can follow along with them, but they can also avoid a copyright claim or strike. I personally choose to not put footage from whatever I'm reacting to in my videos. Instead, what you're going to see is we're going to have a handy timer in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, and that timer is going to be there so you can follow along with where I'm at in whatever I'm watching. So all I ask you to do in my reaction videos as the viewer is to just pull up whatever we're watching on your own screen and just sort of format it however you like, wherever you want to put it, so that you can watch me alongside with what we're watching, and that way I can avoid the risk of copyright claims or strikes and having my channel taken down, and you as the viewer can watch the episode of whatever we're watching in its full unedited glory, and we can enjoy the show together. If that's something that you don't vibe with and you'd rather watch a reactor that puts the footage into their actual reaction videos from whatever we're watching, or if you want somebody who doesn't like stop and pause, because I do that too, I'll stop the video and you'll see the timer will stay where it is while we talk about something that I have a thought I want to share. I'm never going to take offense to you going and watching somebody else's reaction channel, whether they have a different style of reacting or they just put the footage in. You're never going to offend me. The only thing that will ever offend me is if you comment on my videos saying that I should put the footage into my videos. I have done this in the past and it has not worked out for me, and it is not a risk that I'm willing to take as a content creator, so all I ask you to do as the viewer is to respect that wish and decision and to just pull up the episode on your own screen however you choose to do so you can follow along with me. That being said, I hope you enjoyed today's reaction video. Hello everyone, my name is Cecil Scott, and welcome back to another reaction video. As you can tell by the title of this video today, we're going to be watching episode 2 of Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger. We did watch episode 1 already on the channel, so if you missed that and you wanted to go check that out, go look for it. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, since you already sat through the disclaimer and you know how we roll around here, that you guys need to bring up the episode on your own screen, I'm going to assume that you've already gone ahead and taken the time to do that. I'm already prepped and I've got episode 2 ready to go on my screen. I believe the name of this episode was The Informant Does Not Approve. I just want to say before we get into the episode, because we're going to do our 3, 2, 1 go countdown in a second. When I say go, we're both going to hit play at the same time and start the episode together. I just wanted to say, I think it's quite funny that I was looking over my notes from the last episode so I could, remember, like, character names and things like that. And I can't believe I didn't even catch it until I was looking at my notes that the name of Boon Red is Taya. Taya. Like, really? They fucking named him after a tire. I think that was pretty funny. And I did go online and just confirm some terms, just using, like, the general Wikipedia, just to make sure that I was pronouncing some things correctly, because, there can be differences between how they're literally translated and between how, like, a translation can take a little bit of liberty to make them more digestible or readable for their audiences, or make them spelled the way that maybe they think the creators will put them in, if that makes any sense. So I do have the names down of our 3 characters and our 3 villains and just some general terms just so I could get familiar with them. So hopefully I won't stumble over the terminology too much in this episode. Yeah, but I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to see what the episode has for us. Last episode was a wild ride, and I did not have time to even sit down and slow down and think of any thoughts. And it was a damn near perfect experience. So I'm excited to see if this episode can keep that momentum going and that quality of production going as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it with episode 2 of Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger in 3, 2, 1, go. What the hell? Ah! This dude's little movements are so cool. Mira, come on, dude. Oh, uh-oh. Here we go. Don't tell me she's gonna freak out seeing him. Wait, actually, this should be her first time seeing him, so she should freaking out. She should be like, what the hell is that? Okay. This voice sounds very familiar for who's singing the opening. Where have I heard this before? Oh my god, this is gonna bug me. One thing I will say which I hate to make comparisons between the two, but because I have just, I've seen the first 6 episodes of Kamen Rider Gotchard, I will say between the two, it seems like this series has a much higher budget. Like an insanely higher budget for both set, costume designs, CGI, everything. Oh, okay, so he's an alien, not a robot. Okay. A space mafia. Mad Rex. Okay, so now we're already getting a peek at who their boss is, who's above them. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell that these guys are kind of like, not the greatest villains. They're kind of more comical ones. So, obviously, we would need somebody more serious above them. But now we've got confirmation of that already with the name and a teaser from episode 2. Okay, so they use these key things to make their monsters. A vacuum. What the hell? So they can't even control it. That's funny. Okay, so where'd the Boonboomger gear come from then? Okay, now we're getting into it. I'm happy about this. Dude. Dude, he is really gonna make this difficult for him. Okay, so we're gonna learn about Cheshiro's backstory. Uh-oh. There's a lot of bisexual energy going on in the room. Probably not, but eventually they will. Just get over it. Who cares? Go with it. Well, it'd be good for both of them to be around people who are polar opposites, because they need to be able to work together. An info broker. Is he really not going to talk to her? Is he really going to be that much of an asshole? Oh, Ishiro. I see. So, Ishiro is his name, but Cheshiro is like a nickname. Okay. What great product placement. Okay, I paused it at 7 minutes and 51 seconds. That's very obvious product placement. I wonder if Vermilion is one of their sponsors. Etoile. Like, are these real brands and places, or are they fake? Actually, let me look that up, because I'm just curious now. Vermilion, Japan. I'm just going to put in Japan. Vermilion, Japan. Clothing? I would guess it would be a clothing bag. Interesting. It does not appear to be Vermilion Japan brand. Sorry, I'm just curious about this because this looks very real. By Vermilion. Shoe by Vermilion. Interesting. These don't look like anything special or expensive, so Vermilion Lifestyle? You know what? I don't even care. We're not going to focus on this. I thought it might be something that was, like, real. So, one of the things I'm noticing so far is that with this episode, it's not as enjoyable as the first episode, because I feel like, so far at least anyways, they're not keeping things as fresh and exciting as they were, which I'm completely fine with them slowing down the pace. I feel like, honestly, the first episode felt like a first episode would be if you took out all the information that you need to typically explain to the viewer in a first episode. So it does make sense that the second episode, things are a little bit slower, because we're sort of explaining some of that base information that you would typically get in a series' first episode. So they were actually kind of smart to keep things high speed, high intensity, high excitement, and just really fun. Just keep the whole energy fun, because that really hooks the viewer, and makes you want to come back and learn more. And we can get that stuff in the second episode, if that makes any sense. But I will say, though, that none of this that is being presented to us is super original or exciting. It almost feels like kind of like this build-up, and then you expect something a little bit more. Like, we still haven't, like, we're out on a job now. Does that make any sense? Like, Ishiro is an informant. They're doing some sort of, like, spy client work where they're, delivering top-secret documents between presidents of foreign countries. That sounds pretty important, but we still haven't gotten, like, an organization name. We haven't gotten how this work started, who started it, whether it was Taya, whether it was something that Boonboom came up with, whether they're working with the government. Like, we're not getting that basic information, and we've already gone from the point of getting a job, being assigned to a job, going out to the job, and now being on the job. Like, and all this job is progressing without us even knowing who we are or where we're from. Like, if I was Mira, I'd be like, okay, that's great, this is what you do, but why and how did you start doing this, and what's the point of it, and like, who's your employer, like, 'cause this sounds like super top secret dangerous stuff. And those are like the obvious questions that we as the viewer would ask, and it always becomes like an annoying experience when the viewer is asking very basic questions that the characters are not, unless there's a good reason for them not asking them. Does that make sense? Like, it needs to conflict with the character's own goals and motivations, or they just need to be caught up in such a situation where they don't have time to think, and that's why they're not asking those basic questions. But Mira is not really in either of those. Things have slowed down. She's just sort of walking to Taya's, like, mansion where they have their base. They're just, like, talking. There's no, like, alarm going off that a monster's attacking anywhere. They're just, like, taking things at their own pace and introducing each other, and she's getting the information. I'm just very shocked we haven't gotten that very basic, like, who the Boonboomgers are, what Taya's dream is, why he created the Boonboomgers, and what their purpose is, and how this all came to be, if that makes any sense. Like, we need that information, and I hope we get that by the end of the episode, because if they're dragging very basic information like that out to, like, the third episode or beyond, that's gonna be... They better have a damn good reason for it. Like, it better be written very well, if that makes any sense. Like, there better be a twist behind it that catches the audience by surprise. And there better also be payoff. Like, a twist cannot just be a twist for a twist's sake. Like, there needs to be a payoff if you're going to build up a twist also. Like, it needs to affect what we know so far from the show. Does it make any sense? Like, if we get a twist in episode 12 that was a twist on basic information we should have had in episode 1... that was part of the very premise of the show and the character's purpose and, you know, goals and motivations and reason for doing what they do, then that twist needs to happen in a way where it now recontextualizes and flips everything that's happened. Does that make sense? Like a good twist would be like, oh, well, the point of the Boonboomgers, we avoided this, right, was because we're also trying to get gasoline. And the gasoline, we now find out in episode 12, is bad or evil, and it's bad for the environment, right? So we might have been collecting gasoline the first 12 episodes thinking we're the heroes and that we need this gasoline, but then in episode 12 the twist is it's bad for the environment, and now everybody's morally conflicted, and everybody who you thought was doing good could potentially be looked at as being bad. Does that make sense? That's a good twist on a premise that you should have had the information for in the beginning, but you didn't get until later. Like, you need there to be equal payoff for the amount of time you delay the twist. So, anyways, I guess that's what I'm saying is, before I get too far into it and I start getting too ahead of myself, is I just hope that we get this basic information sooner rather than later, because I actually don't have the faith in them to create a really equally good payoff for... or a twist, even. I just expect it to be lazy writing where they just throw this information in at a later point and there's no reason why we had to wait. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but that's what I'm leaning towards. So I hope we get this basic information by the end of the episode or sooner. So anyways, let's go ahead and get back into it. We are at the 7-minute and 51-second mark. In 3, 2, 1, go. Wait! Why can't they transform? This is a monster! It's attacking people! Literally, now it's attacking people and taking all their stuff! What do you mean, don't be hasty? Okay, so what's happening is she wants to get in there and save people. He's observing so he knows how to beat them. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I support her in this situation. You can't just not save people who are being attacked. Like, what the hell's wrong with you, dude? Oh, and now he can't even run. So is that going to be, like, part of Ishiro's lesson? It's like, oh, well, you couldn't save him anyways. And, like, she still had to try. He left her? Are you fucking kidding me? Thank you, Taya. Thank goodness. At least somebody gave a shit. He's gonna keep doing this. It's gonna be so cheesy every time. Who the hell is this? I want to know who this guy is now, because he's not procurement. I'm learning that these guys all have, like, jobs. Like, they said that Ishiro Chashiro was an info broker. They're saying this orange guy works in procurement. So I guess we're slowly getting explained at least what their roles are within whatever organization they're a part of. Like, they all have their part to play. Oh, so he can expel the air and... Okay. Oh, cool! I love what they can do with the shoes and the tires. That is so fun. They summoned her wagon? Oh, that's great. Oh, cool, they disabled him. Okay, so Cheshire went to go get her vehicle, but he still could have fucking communicated that. Like, what the hell? Oh, the poor police officer. Also, is it just me or the police officer give off, like, protagonist energy? Like, I could easily see him being, like, one of the Boonboomgers. He's got, like, he's youthful, he's good-looking, like, he's stylized, he's athletic. It's interesting. It's like, is every throwaway character just gonna be good-looking in this show? Is this Hollywood all of a sudden? Wait a minute. Okay, so I wonder if what they're thinking is that there's a limit. There's a limit to how much he can suck up. He's clogged. Okay. Okay, so he knows there's a limit. Oh, he's an info broker. That's his. This is all part of his role. Is he's all about information. That's his role within this team. He's all about information. Okay. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, stop being a jerk. Oh, he was called out. He tricked him with reverse psychology. That's great. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, see, the thing is, this guy's suction works both ways. So he's probably going to expel everything he sucked up now. Oh, okay. I've been writing them down wrong. I've been writing them... Okay. It's because I'm a dumbass and I'm looking at the subtitles and not what's actually on our fucking screen. So it makes sense for Japanese for Boon to be B-U-N. But then their official titles and posters show B-O-O-N. This is interesting to me. They like flip-flop between how they want to spell it with the English pronunciation. Okay. That's fun. What Ishiro's doing is fun. Yeah, I love all the high-speed tire effects. She's so whimsical. I love her energy. Out of all three of these characters, I will say I love Mira the most. Like, I wish she was the main character, like the protagonist. She feels like it, and as far as like story and writing and attention to detail goes. Like, her and Taiga maybe equally, but I feel like this is her story. Do you know what I mean? They would have to really start deviating from giving her screen time in order to make her not feel like the focal protagonist. Like, I know she's not the leader of the group, but this feels like her story. Wasn't that the logo that we saw for the Space Mafia when they showed Commander Mad Rex? When the Hishilians there were talking to him on the screen, doing like their little audio chat or whatever? And it had like an anti-symbol over it, like a no. And they also use a key that's similarly shaped too. You know what I'm realizing too is like the metal color, like the paint that's on the tires on their heads, at least for Boon Red and Boon Blue, is different from the blue color that's on the rest of their suit. I'm surprised they didn't make it uniform throughout the whole suit. Also, I'm very curious to know why there's like so many vehicles when there's only 3 of them. Like, does this mean we're going to get a Sentai for every vehicle, or does this mean that they just swap out vehicles interchangeably, and that the vehicles give them different abilities in combat, if that makes any sense? See, he uses the Boom Boom trailer, which is like the main one that all the other ones combine with when they form like a big one. Then we got Off-Road and Wagon. But I wonder if this means that we're going to see them use different combinations. Like, will we see Boon Red use a different vehicle? Like that lime green, I don't know what it was, like a dump truck or whatever. Okay, Yadokai seems like to be actually the main alien in this little squad. The other two don't really do squat except for make monsters and jump around comically. Oh, I wouldn't want him on the back of me, though. I love how he just, like, belches out all the gasoline. Ah! Not the cleaning. Okay, here we go. The change mode. So they're all yelling attack mode. So I wonder if this means they'll use the other vehicles when they're using a different strategy in battle, if that makes any sense. Like, maybe they need more defense or something else. So maybe they'll, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work with that many vehicles, because I can't imagine there being that many Sentai. You know what I'm curious about? I wonder if they're using completely, like, if it's all CGI to make, like, the big kaiju model actors, like with the suits, or if they're still doing things the old school way, where they're, like, building a set where they make things look mini and they just have the actors in their costumes. Because this looks like, honestly, this looks like it could all be CGI. But I think it would kind of stink if we weren't doing that old school, you know, setup with explosives and a set that the actors get to stomp around in. Okay. You know, I will say, as fun as it was to see it the first time, because the first episode was so high energy and hype, I don't think the boom boom finish, honestly, is that really that impressive. I mean, it's literally just them doing a straight line, and we get, like, spark effects. It's like they just saw him in half or whatever. There's nothing really all that much of it about that makes it, like, a visual spectacular. Oh, her jacket's cute. I just noticed it says Joy of the Ring. I wonder if it's like a boxing-related shirt. What the hell is this? Oh no! This is so cheesy! Wait, there's another dude! Wait. To the right, in the overalls. Who the hell is that? No. Okay. Okay, so we've got Boon Red, Boon Pink, Boon Blue, and now we've got a guy in black overalls and orange. So I'm just gonna call it now. I bet you they're gonna be like other Sentai that are like orange and black. Boom Boom, you better fucking get it. Oh wait, on the wall in the back they actually show an orange and a black Boon. Like Boon Red and Boon, I'm gonna guess Boon Black and Boon Orange. Yeah, okay, so this is like our full team. We're just gonna... Oh my god, we just saw them all in their suits! Yeah, so this is like the whole team. We're just gonna slowly get them introduced and integrated. I mean, to be fair though, we've seen Boon Orange already, since that's obviously the orange-haired guy with the lollipop. But we just haven't... Was that... Wait a minute, was that the cop? Was it the cop? Is he gonna join the team like Mira does? That would explain why he's separate to the right with her, and they split them in the middle. Ooh, tricky bastards. Because so far it's just been the three of them, but there's the cop again. And who the hell is this? Oh, that is some crunchy CGI, man. Like, really crunchy CGI. I wonder if it's going to be a thing where the cop's just going to keep appearing at all these sites, and then eventually they're going to recruit him like they do with Mira. Okay, so that was my reaction to episode 2 of Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger. The Informant Does Not Approve, I believe is what the name of this episode was. So I'm going to go ahead and give this episode, I think, an 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to do 8 out of 10. That makes the most sense to me. It was still a fun episode. It was still a good episode. There was a lot to enjoy. And honestly, they gave me enough information so that I could really sink my teeth into things. And the wheels... no pun intended. The wheels could start turning in my head and I could start theory crafting about a lot of different things with the show. But I will say the pace was... Definitely, they were not able to keep up the same momentum that they had in the first episode. It was not as fun of a first as an episode. It was the first episode, but then again, the first episode would be really hard to keep that momentum going. That was a very well crafted episode. I do appreciate that we got a lot of information on this episode, but I like I was saying earlier, I just feel like that most basic information of who the Boonboomgers are, what they're doing, and why, even though it was hinted at, like we know that it was Taya's dream with Boom Boom, we don't know what it is, and they're still just like operating, and I don't like that Mira is... She seemed like somebody who was so stubborn that she didn't like other people to take control of life, but now just the action of being Boon Pink is enough for her, and she's willing to just go along with whatever anybody else is doing. Does that make sense? Like, she's willing to go on the job, they pick the job, they tell her how much information they feel like giving her, they tell her where to go and what to do, and she just sort of goes along with all of it, which is completely contradictory to how her character was in the first episode, because in the first episode, she just did not like being told what to do at all. So it's almost like they had this obstacle for this character, and then all she needed to do to completely alter her personality and her quirk with being told what to do was to become Boon Pink. That's it. So there must be more to it. Maybe it's like at home she had her life ran for her by her family or something. Maybe she's escaped her whole life, and now just being Boon Pink has given her like the freedom. So maybe she's chilled out. I don't know. I guess there could be explanations for it, but I feel like the writing was not consistent with the first episode, and I think that's because we were focusing more on Chashiro or Ishiro, his character, and getting more insight into him. But Taya, we don't really know too much about him. I do find it interesting that Ishiro did say at one point you can drop the whole cranked up act or tone it down a little bit, which makes me wonder if Taya is actually, there's a lot more depth to his character, and he just puts on a brave front in order to be able to run a team. And to be able to interact with the others and like run this operation. So maybe he knows a more intimate side of him where he sort of lets down his guard and he's not so corny and, you know, isn't driving this whole cranked up shtick all the time. That would be interesting to see him, you know, express a little bit more vulnerability and more sincerity in his character, I guess. But I do feel like, well, sincerity might not be a good word, because I do feel like we are genuinely getting him. It just might not be as vulnerable of a characterization as it could be. It's not as well-rounded as far as the writing goes. But yeah, overall, I had a really good time. It seems like these, at least until later, I mean, what I'm noticing so far with Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger, and mind you, we're only in episode 2, so I'm just making, you know, observations at this point. I talked about this in my Kamen Rider Gotchard episode reactions, that when I was first talking about, or thinking about, getting into doing tokusatsu reaction videos on my YouTube channel, I knew that the two main ones were going to be Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, and I didn't know what I wanted to start with. And at first, I was obviously leaning towards Super Sentai. I tried out a bunch of different series, you know, just the first, like, episode or two, over different times over the past year and a half, honestly. At different points, I've been so close to being like, okay, I want to watch a full series, or I want to react to it on YouTube, like, I wanted to get into it, and I was always leaning towards Super Sentai. But nothing ever felt like it was such an experience that I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this is what makes me want to get into making content for this and putting it on YouTube. And then I really sat back and I was like, okay, I really want to get into this. Like, I was having the thought again, and I was trying to debate whether I wanted to get into Kamen Rider or Super Sentai, and I'm just like, okay, what do I want to do here? Like, I've been trying out different Super Sentai over, like, the last year and a half. Nothing's really stuck with me to the point to make me want to, like, get motivated to make content for it. I'm like, what is the difference between, you know, Kamen Rider and Super Sentai? And I sort of like looked up different, you know, sort of versus or comparison threads and different posts and things on social media and videos. And what it came down to for me was somebody explained it as Kamen Rider was more focused on an individual character, and it got more storytelling and it got more dark storytelling, whereas they said that Super Sentai seemed to be a show that was all about teamwork and team building, and overcoming challenges as a team and just people working to form relationships together. But it felt like over the years, they're sort of locked into that, and they have less freedom to be able to tell a good story that sort of deviates from those themes of, like, friendship and teamwork. So it seems to be more repetitive, whereas Kamen Rider, they have more freedom to deviate from that and do more things with. And I will say, even though we've only watched the first 2 episodes of this, you know, I've watched the first 6 episodes of Kamen Rider Gotchard on my channel. Now we've watched the first 2 episodes of this. And I feel like the comparison so far is true. It's interesting because you would think that this series would have the more dark storytelling, because all the actors who are playing the Boonboomgers are older, they're adults. Whereas in like in Kamen Rider Gotcha, they're all like the typical high schooler age, which I was expecting the reverse. I was expecting the Sentai show to have like the teenagers with attitude, and I was expecting Kamen Rider to maybe have like a singular like early 20s sort of age character, or an after high school teenage, you know, maybe college year age character. But instead I got the opposite. And you would think that with a story with mostly adults, that the story would be more dark to cater towards adults, and that the one with high schoolers would be more lighthearted to cater towards people in school. And once again, that got flipped. Now, things could change, obviously, once I watch more episodes of this. I mean, we're only in episode 2, so I'm taking everything with a grain of salt, and I'm trying not to be too predictive. I'm just basing it off of what I've seen already so far in the show. But I just do find it interesting that the sort of the things that I have heard about the two series versus each other, where they said that they feel like Kamen Rider is more in your face about selling you toys, where Super Sentai it seems to be less about selling the toys, or like it is about selling the toys to you, but it's less in your face about it, or it feels like it's less in your face. And I can see that, but I can also see how these toys, the toys for Super Sentai would be less fun to get than the toys for Kamen Rider, because what I'm realizing is that with Super Sentai, it seems like there's a lot of, like, because you have so many Sentai on a team, and you have so many, like, robots on a team, you're going to be getting things that you play with and, like, interact with, and, like, more figures, if that makes sense. Where Kamen Rider, because you have less figures and less characters to collect figures of, and you're getting more interactive things. Like, you're getting swords, you're getting guns, you're getting cards, you're getting belts, you're getting, you know, equipment that goes on your wrist. So I almost feel like that would be more fun if you are, like, the kid age that, and, you know, in Japan that this demographic would be aimed at. I feel like it would be more fun to get into and to get merchandise for Kamen Rider than it would be for Super Sentai. Whereas for adults, I guess if it's all about the collecting aspect and more and less about, like, the interactivity of the products that you buy in the merchandise, I can see how it would be more fun to get Super Sentai. So now it's almost giving me a little bit more insight into why a series like Super Sentai / Power Rangers is more successful in the West, where Kamen Rider might not have necessarily ever really been brought over. And even series like Ultraman, which are getting a much bigger Western popular following now, it's becoming more popular. It's still, because obviously I haven't experienced any Ultraman whatsoever, but I'm guessing, because it's always showing one hero by themselves in all the images that I see, I'm guessing that it's similar to Kamen Rider, where it's more all about like a singular hero. I can see why those series might struggle in the West, where Super Sentai might really thrive, because it makes sense. When it comes down to like collecting things, you would want to collect more things you can display versus interactive pieces that you wear and interact with and touch and play with and use. So I wonder if there will ever be a time when like a series like Kamen Rider would be able to overcome that challenge and give more of the things that Super Sentai offers in a way that doesn't make it lose its Kamen Rider-ness. That's just, I don't know, just an observation or thought I was having. But anyways, that's enough of my talking. I've done talking way too much because we ended the episode like almost 8 minutes ago now. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of episode 2 of Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger. I will see you guys next time in episode 3. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for coming. And until we meet again in the next video, bye-bye.